Hello friends, you are watching ISC Mathematics, and in this video we will learn the chapter number 5 matrices, adjoint and inverse of a square matrix, ISC Mathematics Standard 12. Okay, now let us begin with adjoint. What is an adjoint? Okay, adjoint and inverse are the properties of square matrix. Okay, so for square matrices only we will find the inverse and adjoint. Okay, now adjoint of a square matrix. Adjoint of a square matrix is the transpose of a matrix obtained by replacing each element of a given matrix by its corresponding cofactor or cofactor. Okay, for example, if A is equal to Aij is a square matrix of order n, then order n and Cij is the cofactor of Aij in matrix A. Aij is an element of matrix A and Cij is the cofactor of element Aij. Then adjoint of A is a matrix. Okay, replacing the elements of A, yes or no, by Aij by Cij. Clear? So we will write down symbolically Cij, yes or no, and transpose. Clear? So we will take the transpose of the matrix obtained by replacing each element Aij of A by its cofactor Cij and taking the transpose. Okay, let us try to understand with the help of examples. Okay, adjoint of a 2 by 2, adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix. We will take one example. Let A is equal to, we have A, B, C, D. Okay, this is the matrix A. Now let us find out the cofactors. Okay, so cofactors, now you know how to find for all the elements. Cofactor of first element A. Okay, cofactor of A will be D. Similarly, cofactor of B will be minus C. Cofactor of C will be minus B, and cofactor of D will be A. Okay, now adjoint of matrix A is equal to, we will replace each of the elements by the cofactors and then we will take the transpose. So D minus C minus BA. Now let us take the transpose. Therefore adjoint of A is equal to taking transpose means changing rows into columns. Okay, so we will get D minus C minus B into A. So this is the required adjoint of given matrix A of order 2 by 2. Clear? Now let us notice the difference in A and adjoint of A. So if you carefully observe, you will notice that the diagonal elements are interchanged. Yes or no? A, D, D, A. And of diagonal elements, if you notice, we have just changed the signs. Clear? So this can be considered as a rule for finding the adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix, that interchange. Okay, or we'll write down the statement that the adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix, adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix is obtained by interchanging its diagonal elements, by interchanging its diagonal elements and changing only signs of diagonal elements. Clear? So this way you can obtain the adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix. Now we will take one example of 3 by 3 matrix and find out the adjoint. Adjoint of a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, now let us consider matrix A containing elements A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. So we will find out first the cofactors of all the 9 elements. Cofactor of A11 will be denoted by C11. Cofactor of A12 will be denoted by C12. Similarly, we'll go on, and finally cofactor of A33 will be denoted by C33, and therefore adjoint of A will be C11, C12, C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, C33 transpose equals C11, C12, C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, C33. So this is the adjoint of matrix A of order 3 by 3. Clear? So I hope you have understood this topic, adjoint of a 2 by 2 matrix and adjoint of a 3 by 3 matrix. It is very easy to find. Just replace each element by the cofactor and then transpose of the matrix thus obtained. Clear? Okay, now let us move further. I will see one theorem. adjoint of a matrix theorem. Okay, if A is a square matrix of order n, then A into adjoint of A is equals to determinant of A into In is equals to adjoint of A into A. Okay, so this is a very important result you should remember. Okay, because this will be helpful to derive many other formulas as well as in solving the exercise prove that sums. Clear? So as I told, this result is helpful, useful, you will remember this. Now let us try to understand the result. Okay, let us consider the matrix A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. We will find out adjoint of A. Okay, adjoint of A will be C11, C12, C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, C33. Okay, this is adjoint of A. Okay, now if you take the product A into adjoint of A, what happens? Let us check. Okay, now A into adjoint of A is equal to A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33 into C11, C12, C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, C33. Okay. We have already studied the multiplication of two matrices. Okay. Both are of the same order and therefore the product A into adjoint of A exists. Clear? So you know that how we multiply row into column multiplication. So you will notice then when you multiply first row with first column, A11 C11 plus A12 C12. So product of first row with first column will give you Aij into Cij. Yes or no? Sum. Okay. Yes or no? A11 C11 plus A12 C12 plus A13 C13 like this. Okay, and this sum represents what? This sum gives us the determinant that we have seen previously in the last chapter of matrices. Okay, operation. Yes or no? Types of matrices and operations. So in the multiplication operation, okay, we have seen this property. Clear? That when a matrix is multiplied, okay, this property we have seen in the chapter determinant 2. Okay, so when element of any one lower column is multiplied with the corresponding cofactors and the terms are added, then we get the determinant value of the determinant. So obviously when you multiply first row with first column, so you are going to get determinant of A. Now when you multiply each element with the corresponding cofactors of some other row or column, okay, first row second column, so it will be 0 only. Clear? So here 0 0. Similarly when you multiply second row with second column, you notice that elements and the product represent the elements, some of the elements with their corresponding cofactors. A21 C21 plus A22 C22 plus A23 C23. So again here we will get the determinant. Okay, and similarly when third column is third row is multiplied with third column. So again we have the corresponding elements and their cofactors. So again here you will get the determinant of A. Okay, so we can take the common. Clear? Determinant of A we can take common. Yes or no? So determinant of A you can take common from the matrix and we are left with a unit matrix. Okay, so which is equals to determinant of A into I3. Yes or no in this case? So generalizing we can write for a matrix of order n, A into adjoint of A is equals to determinant of A into In. Clear? So this theorem is proved. Now let us see the second topic, inverse. What is the inverse? Inverse of a square matrix okay, suppose A is a square matrix of order n and if there exists a matrix B of the same order, let A be a square matrix of order n. Okay, and if there exists a square matrix B of same order such that AB is equal to I n is equal to PA. Okay, then matrix B is called the inverse of matrix A. Okay, yes or no? If there exists a square matrix B such that AB is equal to BA is equal to IN, then we will say that B is the inverse of matrix A, and okay, here A is said to be invertible matrix and we write that A inverse is equals to B. Clear? Yes or no? Okay, now let us see certain theorems on basis of inverse of a square matrix. Okay, number one, inverse of a square matrix is unique. Okay, let A be a square matrix and if possible B and C be two inverses of matrix A. Okay, then AB is equals to IN is equals to BA, and AC is equal to IN is equal to CA. This we can write by definition. Just before this we have seen. Okay, now let us begin with AB is equals to IN. Okay, now I will multiply with matrix C, pre-multiply matrix C on both the sides. Okay, so now using the associative property, and here C into IN is equals to IN into C will remain same only. Clear the product. Okay, again CA. So what is CA? CA is equals to IN. So we can write here IN into B is equals to IN into C. Okay, so this IN being unit matrix, non-zero we can cancel, and therefore we will get B is equal to, clear? Okay, so this is a theorem which we will remember, that the inverse of a square matrix is unique. Okay, now corollary we can note down that A inverse O inverse is equal to A only. Okay, we know that A inverse into A is equal to I. Yes or no? Okay, A inverse into A is equals to I, or and therefore we can say that, okay, now if you consider this like AB, so AB is equal to I, it means B is the inverse of A. So by definition we can write that, therefore inverse of matrix A, inverse of matrix A inverse is A, and therefore A inverse whole inverse is equal to A. So again an important result you will remember. Okay, now let us check the next theorem. Okay, now let us see theorem number 2. Okay, a square matrix is invertible if it is non-singular. Okay, we have already seen by definition that if A is a matrix, square matrix of order n, and if B is a square matrix of the same order, then AB is equals to IN is equals to BA. Okay, and therefore AB is equals to IN, therefore determinant of AB. Now let us recall the property. Determinant of product AB is equal to determinant of A into determinant of B. Yes or no? This is the property we have seen in the chapter determinants. Okay. Now, okay, determinant will take on both sides. Now what will be the determinant of IN1? It implies what? The product of two matrices is 1, both must be the product of two values is 1. It means both are non-zero, so determinant of A is not equal to 0, and therefore A is non-singular. Clear? Understood? Okay, or conversely, we know that A into adjoint of A is equals to determinant of A into In is equal to adjoint of A into A. Okay, we will divide throughout by determinant of A. Okay, conversely, first we will take that if A is non-singular matrix, we will consider this. Yes or no? Then A into adjoint of A is equals to determinant of A into In is equal to adjoint of A into A. Okay, now we will divide throughout by, or we will multiply by 1 upon determinant of A multiplying by 1 upon determinant of A, obviously. So for this we can put B, therefore A into B is equals to In. Okay, or in other words this becomes the inverse. Yes or no? So A into A inverse is equal to In, and therefore A inverse is equals to 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. Now this is the formula derived to find the inverse of A. When you are given a matrix A, you can calculate the determinant of the matrix, you can find the adjoint of the matrix, and then you can put the values in the formula so that you will get the inverse of. Clear? Understood? Okay, so this is the formula to calculate the inverse in case you are given a matrix, please remember. Okay, now let us see certain properties or more theorems. Okay. Number 1. Properties of inverse and adjoint, or we can even say that the theorems we are going to see. Number 1, cancellation laws. Okay, if A is a non-singular matrix and B and C are two different matrices, then AB is equal to AC implies A is equal to C. Left cancellation law. Yes or no? These are helpful in simplifying in a particular question. Similarly, BA is equal to CA will imply B is equal to C, provided that A is a non-singular matrix. Okay, this is called the right cancellation law. Clear? So this is the property number 1. Similarly, reversal. If A and B are two matrices, then inverse of product AB is equal to inverse of B into inverse of A. Okay, and B are two invertible matrices. then AB whole inverse equals B inverse into A inverse. This is called the reversal law. Okay, now number 3, property number 3. Property number 3, if A is an invertible matrix and A transpose is also invertible, then A transpose whole inverse is equal to A inverse whole transpose. Okay, this is property number 3. Now inverse of a symmetric matrix is symmetric. Inverse of a symmetric matrix is also symmetric, yes or no? This is property number 4. Then we have number 5. Okay, adjoint of A for a square matrix of order n, adjoint of A is equal to, or let me write down the statement. If A is a square matrix of order n, then determinant of adjoint of A is equal to determinant of A raised to n minus 1. Suppose if A is a matrix of order 3, then adjoint of A will be equal to determinant of A raised to 3 minus 1, that is determinant of A is square. Okay, if the order is 4, power will be 4 minus 1, 3. Okay, so in objective type of questions, okay, these properties will be applicable. Now let us check the next property. Property number 6. If A is a square matrix of A and B, are square matrices, let me write down the statement again. If A and B are two square matrices of same order, then adjoint of product AB is equal to adjoint of B into adjoint of A. Okay, this is property number 6. Now property number 7. If A is a square matrix of order n, then determinant of, okay, adjoint of A transpose is equal to adjoint of A whole transpose. Clear? Property number 7. Now let us check the property number 8. Okay, adjoint of a symmetric matrix is also symmetric adjoint of a symmetric matrix is also symmetric. Clear? So far 8 properties we have seen. Now let us check the property number 9. If A is a square matrix of order n, then adjoint of A is equal to determinant of A raised to n minus 2 into matrix A. Okay, one more property you will remember here, the determinant of adjoint of A will be equal to determinant of A raised to n minus 1 the whole square. Clear? So property number 8, then 9 number we have seen. Now 10 and 11, two more properties are left. Let us check one by one. Okay, property number 10, if A and B are two non-null matrices such that their product is a null matrix, then each of the two matrices is singular. Okay, it means what? If A and B are non-null but their product is a null matrix, then A and B both are singular. Clear? Now next property. Okay, let us remember like this only. Determinant of A inverse is equals to determinant of A whole inverse, that is determinant of A inverse is equals to 1 upon determinant of A. Okay, this is another formula that we will remember. Clear? So all the properties we have seen. Okay, now okay, so all the properties are complete. Now on the basis of these properties and the theorems, okay, you can find out the inverse and adjoint. Clear? And then we can start exercise. First exercise is of finding the adjoint and the inverse only. Okay, now inverse can be found one using the formula I have given you, that A inverse is equals to 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. Yes or no? The derivation of formula we have also seen. Clear? Another way of finding the inverse is elementary by elementary row transformation. For elementary row transformation, we can use the rule A is equals to IA. Okay, yes or no? And then we will transform the identity matrix into the inverse. Okay, clear? What we will do, we will transpose. Okay, here we have to bring the unit matrix, and identity matrix will be transposed into A inverse. Okay, using the elementary row transformation. Now elementary row transformations are of two types. Elementary transformations are actually of two types: elementary row transformation and elementary column transformation. So any one method you can use in order to find the inverse here using the elementary transformations. So let us check the rules of elementary row transformations or column transformations. Elementary row transformation. Okay, so three types of elementary row transformation we can see. Number one is interchange of two rows, that is okay, Ri to Rj, R1 to R2 or R1 to R3 or R2 to R3, like this. Yes or no? So we can interchange any two rows. Okay. Second one is multiplying each element of any one row by some constant k, that is, for example, on Ri, k into Ri we can write. Okay, this operation can be represented in this way. Okay, for example, on R1, 2 into R1 we can write, or if we are multiplying each element of the first row by 2, and the third one, each element of any one row, okay, is multiplied with some non-zero constant k and added to the corresponding elements of some other row. Clear? Each element of any one row is multiplied with some non-zero constant k and added to corresponding elements of some other row. Okay, symbolically this property we can represent in this way. Suppose on ith row, okay, Ri plus k into Rj. That means each element of jth row we are multiplying with k and adding with the corresponding elements of ith row. Here, for example, on R2, R2 plus 2 into R3. So each element of third row is multiplied with 2 and added to the corresponding elements of second row. Clear? So these three elementary row transformation we can perform, okay, in order to find the inverse. The same operations can be performed in the elementary column transformation. R will be replaced by C. Clear? Okay, so in order to understand better this elementary row transformation, let us take one example, okay, of a matrix and find the inverse using the elementary row transformation. A 2 by 2 matrix we will consider in order to find using elementary row transformation. Okay, for example, we have a matrix A given by 3, 4, 2, 3. Clear? Now we have to find the inverse of A using elementary row transformation. So we write A is equals to IA. This is a common step in all the questions, okay, in which you are using the elementary row transformation. Okay, now matrix A is 3, 4, 2, 3 is equal to 1, 0, 0, 1. Here you will keep A only. You are not going to change this. Yes or no? We have to keep as it is. Okay, now what is the target? We have to bring over here identity matrix and whatever elementary row transformations we will perform on both the sides. Clear? So here you will change in order to bring the identity matrix, and corresponding changes will take place in the identity matrix, and this will be converted into A inverse. So finally I is equal to A inverse into A we will get. Clear? So the multiple of A will be the required answer, that is A inverse. Okay, now let us try to perform. Okay, remember the funda that move in this way. Look at the first row, first column. Okay, here we have 1 and then 0. So we will always try to bring our first step must be to bring over here 1 only. Clear? So you have 3 elementary operations. You can use any one operation, okay, in order to bring here 1. Once you got here 1, then you will bring over here 0. So let us perform the operation. In order to bring 1, I will subtract on R1 minus 2 into R2 I will do. So on R1 minus 1 into R2. Okay, so you will multiply by 1 and then subtract from R1. So 3 minus 2 will be 1, 4 minus 3 will be 1, 2 and 3. So the first task is over, we got over here 1. Now our next task is to get over here 0. Okay, so in order to get over here 0, what we can do, we can multiply second row with 2 and subtract. Yes or no, from the second row. So on R2 minus 2 into R1, therefore 0, 3 minus 2 will be 1. Okay, the similar operations we have to perform on the left hand side. Okay, so what we did in the first one, R1 minus R2 we have done. So 1 minus 0 will be 1, but 0 minus 1 will be minus 1. Here this will be as it is. Again, on R2 minus 2 into R1 we have done on the left side. So on the right side also on R2 minus 2 into R1. So R1 will not change. We have to only make changes in the row R2. So 0 minus 2 ones are 2. So 0 minus 2 will be minus 2. Again 1 minus 2 into minus 1. So minus 2. So 1 minus minus 2 will be 1 plus 2, that is equal to 3. Clear? Okay. Now, so in the first column we obtained 1 and 0. Yes or no, on the left side. Now the second task to obtain 1 and 0 like this. So first we'll get 1. Okay, over here. So you notice that already 1 is present. So now our next target is to get 0 on this position. Clear? So in order to get 0, it is very clear. On R1 minus R2 we can perform. So on R1 performing R1 minus 1 into R2, therefore 1 minus 0 0. Okay, so this is done, and similarly here 1 plus 2 will be 3. minus 1 minus 3 will be minus 4 minus 2 3 into 8. So now we have got here identity matrix. So now this is I, this is A inverse, and this is A. Therefore I is equals to A inverse into A. Therefore A inverse we got to be 3 minus 4 minus 2 and 3. Clear? So this is the inverse we have obtained. So I hope now you have understood how to find the inverse using elementary row transformation. Clear? Now okay, now let us see the application or solving a system of equation using matrix method. Okay, before that, homogeneous and non-homogeneous solutions systems we will see. What are homogeneous systems and non-homogeneous system of equations. Okay, a system of equations, matrix equations here, yes or no? Ax is equals to B is homogeneous if B, that is matrix on the right hand side, is a null matrix. Yes or no? Otherwise it is non-homogeneous. Clear? Okay, further let us set one example. 2x plus 3y is equal to 0 and 3x plus 4y is equal to 0. This is a homogeneous system. Yes or no? Since matrix B will be 0 by 0. Clear? Okay, now 2x plus 3y is equal to 1 and 3x plus 4y is equal to minus 2. This is an example of a non-homogeneous of equation. Clear? So now you know what is a homogeneous system of equations and what is a non-homogeneous system of equations. Now let us see the condition for consistency for a given system of equations. Okay, now theorem number 1. If A is a non-singular matrix of if A is a non-singular matrix, then a system of equations Ax is equals to B has a unique solution, given by x is equal to A inverse B. Yes or no? We have the given system is Ax is equals to B. If you pre-multiply by A inverse both the sides, pre-multiplying by A inverse on both the sides and then using associative property or matrices. Okay, we know that A inverse into A will be equal to I. Okay, is equals to, and finally I into x is equal to x, and therefore x is equal to A inverse B. Clear? Okay, so for a given system of equation Ax is equals to B, provided that A is a non-singular matrix, we have a solution given by x is equals to A inverse B. Clear? Now we have already studied various methods of finding inverse. One is the formula A inverse is equals to 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A if provided that A is a non-singular matrix, and the other one is by elementary row or column transformation. Clear? Okay, now let us see the second theorem. Okay, condition for consistency. Condition for consistency. Okay, this condition for a non-homogeneous system of equation. Yes or no? The theorem number 1 also is for non-homogeneous equation of system of equations only. Okay, now, okay, condition for consistency. If Ax is equals to B is a system of equations or system of n linear equations, yes or no? Then number 1, if determinant of A is not equal to 0, that is if the matrix is non-singular, then the system is consistent and has a unique solution and has a unique solution given by x is equals to A inverse B. Number 2, if determinant of A is equal to 0, that is matrix A is singular matrix and adjoint of A into matrix B. Now we know what is matrix B in the equation matrix on the right hand side. Yes or no of equal to sign. Okay. So if determinant of A is 0 and adjoint of A into B, this product is a null matrix, then the system is consistent. System is consistent and has infinite solutions. And condition number 3, if determinant of A is equal to 0 and adjoint of A into B is not equal to a null matrix, okay, then a system is inconsistent. Here a system of equation is inconsistent, that is it has no solution. Understood? So you will remember the 3 conditions for consistency of a non-homogeneous system of equations. Now let us check the solutions for a homogeneous system of equations. Solution of a homogeneous system of equations. Okay, here 2 cases are there. Okay, let Ax is equals to O. Obviously, because in a homogeneous system we know that matrix on the right hand side B is a null matrix, so I will write O. Okay, or let me write down. Yes, this is, we will write in this way only. Ax is equals to O. Clear? B, a system of n linear equations. Okay, now case 1. Okay, if determinant of A is not equal to 0, yes or no? Obviously, then A inverse exists. If A is a non-singular matrix, then inverse of matrix A exists, and therefore Ax is equals to O implies, let us pre-multiply by A inverse. Okay, therefore using the associative property, now any matrix multiplied by null matrix will give you a null matrix only. Over here A inverse into A in, yes or no? Now in into x is x, so x is equals to a null matrix, that is x1 is equals to x2 is equals to x3, yes or no, is equals to xn is equal to 0 we will get. Clear? Okay, this such a solution is also called a trivial solution. Okay, so we'll note down that such a solution is called the trivial solution. Clear? Understood? So this is the case 1. If determinant of A is not equal to 0, or in other words A is a non-singular matrix, then matrix X, that is the required matrix, is a null matrix. Okay, so we will get the trivial solution. Now let us discuss the second case, case 2. Okay, case 2, if determinant of A is equal to 0, yes or no, then what will happen? Okay, then product adjoint of A into O, yes or no, because in the equation the matrix B is a null matrix O is equal to O is always satisfied. Clear? So the second condition, if determinant of A is 0 and adjoint of A into matrix B is also 0, then we know that the system of equation has an infinite number of solutions. So here also determinant of A is 0 and adjoint of A into O is equals to O, that is null matrix. Okay, then we can say that the system is consistent and has an infinite number of solutions. Yes, no? Therefore the system is consistent and has an infinite number of solutions. Clear? So with this we have completed the explanation part of this chapter, matrices, adjoint and inverse. Yes or no? I hope you have very well understood the terms adjoint and inverse, properties and theorems for adjoint and inverse, various results which are very useful in solving an exercise. Clear? And also the conditions of consistency. So if you have prepared all the things nicely, then you can easily solve the exercise. In the next video we will start exercise now. Thank you very much.